And there you have it.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. It's your good friend Pozzible here, and I'm joined with Joe.
Hello.
And Bucky.
Hello.
And believe it or not, this particular podcast is really, actually very, very special for us because this brings us back to how the three of us even met, okay? But it's also the end of an era, in a way. 19 years. I mean, what is an era, really?
It was actually, I think, 18.
Well, yeah, because it was November of 1997.
Yes.
But what we're talking about, of course, is our goodbye to GameWorks. As far as we know, it's the GameWorks in Tempe. Okay, we don't know about the other GameWorks in the world, if they're closing, if they're staying open, or whatever. But GameWorks, my God, what could have been? You know, what should have been.
Exactly.
And what was.
What was, yes. Because it starts off, and let me bring up this first photo here for you. We only actually have two photos, but this first photo shows the beginning. Now, believe it or not, there's three things here. Well, maybe 3.5. But GameWorks was not supposed to be what it became.
Right.
You know, it became, like, how do you describe it, Bucky? How do
Chuck
you say?
E. Cheese is basically, it's like, last time I went in there, which was like 2 months ago, I think, it was nothing but like redemption games and like things you'd find at Chuck E. Cheese.
Right.
Skee ball and all that.
This was supposed to bring arcades into the new millennia, even though they did not want us to call it an arcade. You know, it was a...
What was it, an interactive gaming mecca or something?
Yeah,
like that?
something like that. Now, Joe and I actually worked there. In 1997, Tempe GameWorks hadn't even opened yet. It hadn't even been finished, built yet.
They had what they called a crew call, where they brought, it was kind of like a, a rally or something. I can't remember the name.
There's a long time
ago. They brought everybody together and they said, okay, we met in a warehouse. There was probably hundreds of us in there.
Yes, there's a lot of people back in those days.
And they just weeded the people out.
And you know what? This first part shows what it was supposed to be, because this was like back in the 90s. This photo here. On the left, you have vertical reality, you know, and it was the Big Boss one, you know.
Yeah, wasn't he Mr. Big?
Yes. Later on, it became.
So it was Sky Pirates.
Sky Pirates was later.
That was actually fun.
That one was a lot of fun because at least with Sky Pirates, you got a lot of motion in this one. However, it was very hard to get people to listen. If you pressed those buttons, you didn't shoot. You went down.
Yeah.
And you had people who were pushing their buttons, wondering why they weren't moving. And it's because that's what the buttons do. They bring you down. You're supposed to get on top of something and drop down on them. Okay?
Yeah, even when I played that game, I think I first played the Mr. Big game first.
Right.
And that was actually somewhat fun because when you played the game, you kind of learned the pattern of where people pop up in the game. It was basically a shooter game where you have to shoot the people on screen and whatnot. And the big boss is at the very top of the screen, obviously. And I think I played like once or twice because this is the only limitation I really had is that I am 6'3". Someone who's like 6'3" and has my torso size is not going to fit very well in these seats. Even crouched down, I was very crowded.
Yeah, they didn't really have... I think they had, like, almost midgets in mind when they built those seats.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's a fun game, but it's like they need to take in account to fit people of a bigger size. But apart from that, it was a fun game, don't get me wrong. I wish they did more with that type of entertainment.
Well, and that's what this game was supposed to be all about. Back in the 90s, this was going to be the future of gaming. Where, you know, instead of just having the standard arcade box, you actually went up, you know? And someone who might have been afraid of heights maybe wouldn't have done this game because you actually went up 2 stories, you know?
Right.
And it was interactive, it was motion. You know, if you go to Disneyland today, there's games like the Toy Story game and the Buzz Lightyear game, but those are rides, you know, where you're just sitting there and you're shooting the whole time. It's interactive now. It's not so much passive. And that's what GameWorks was supposed to be. Now, if you move over to the right at the bottom, that's one of the first things to go. That was the game arc.
Okay. Oh, yeah. And I believe the 2 games on it were Descent and Redneck Rampage.
There was something else, though, too, if I remember.
There was another game they added later, but I can't remember what the name of it was.
But I remember playing Descent. I remember getting sick from playing Descent. First-person shooter type of thing, and motion sickness. Of course, this screen took up your whole eyes and everything. If you can imagine a
perspective, I believe.
But it's a life-size version of what's that headset thing that's coming out now?
Virtual reality.
No. It's you put it on your head. It hasn't come out yet. It's coming out here soon.
I
don't know.
Okay, if I remember the name, I'll tell you. You probably know what it is, and if you do know, put a comment below about what I'm talking about. Vertical reality came out in the late 90s as well, but they came and went really fast because the perspective was way off. You could put on and you saw the motion inside but you couldn't tell what was going on because it was too much, and people got. I think motion sickness is going to be the biggest thing when that. Everyone's talking about the new virtual reality glasses that are coming out here soon. Oh, well.
Yeah, I don't get motion sickness that easily.
That's tomorrow. We're talking about the past. Game Arc. But I tell you, it was really nice having those kind of controls and flying around in those things. And, of course, Redneck Rampage.
That was the one I played quite a bit with the drinking whiskey to regain health.
Yeah.
But you got drunker as you played, so you're not as easy to shoot then.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day, they had a good variety of games that were there, stuff that interested everyone.
Every section had something.
Because I remember this is an actual true story. There was this one game they had, I believe, back during the very beginning, like in the late '90s. It was a helicopter flight simulation game. I can't remember what it's called. Maybe it was an airplane simulation game. But anyway, I remember when I was playing this game, I couldn't handle the controls that well. And I did crash into two skyscraper buildings.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like not long after 9/11 happened.
Right.
And then the very next time I played that game, I noticed that either the game wasn't there or they took the buildings out or something.
Right.
And so all because this one incident happened, and that kind of ticked me off a little bit.
It was bound, yeah. But there was there was racing games.
Right, there were racing games. There was
fighting
games. They put them in the loading dock.
There was this one snow skiing game, and it's
where you can be the bear on logs.
Yeah, it's like.
Yes.
Some of these games actually had cheat codes in them where you could change some things about it.
Right.
Some people like being a bear riding logs on skis.
I think there was another one where it was penguin.
There was another thing where you were like a nutcracker. From the Nutcracker.
Oh, right, okay.
And basically, when you fell or when you were airborne, your teeth chattered.
Oh, okay, yeah. Right.
And it was like that was one of the funniest aspects. I didn't care if I won or lost. I just liked seeing that on screen.
Yeah.
Remember playing Hydro Thunder?
Hydro Thunder. There's this one code where there's one boat called the Chumdinger, which is basically an old guy in a small boat with a dog.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There's like a little motorboat.
And there's.
But it was a hydrofoil racing game.
Yeah, and there's like another cheat code where you could be a miniature version of the Titanic.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Although that was harder to steer though.
Well, it's so long and everything.
Right, and so it's like all these interesting cheat codes for many of the games.
You remember when you would come into play and I'd be working and you'd be playing it? You remember the Turbo Boost code?
There was one with Hydro Thunder that there was you throttled to go forward, and to get the cheat code you'd have to shift the throttle down, up, or something like that as it was counting down to go.
I think you had to time it so it was up, down, up, but you had to time it so the last up would be right at go.
Right.
And I remember you'd always do it, and I'd be like, did you get the throttle? And you'd be like, does it look like I got the throttle?
I remember that. Now, you'd get it more times than I did. That was I was pissed off that I was doing something wrong.
Yeah, I think it was even funnier when I was playing you, and I'd pop the throttle. Did you get the throttle? Does it look like I got the throttle?
And of course, there was shooter games like House of the Dead.
Yeah.
That was actually the one they brought us in on. They had a machine in the warehouse alley rally.
Yeah, I never got too much into the shooter games. I did try, but I'd always die very, very quickly.
I used to team up with someone who was really good.
But a lot of the time for me, it was a lot of it was the racing games. I loved Rush 2049.
That was a big one.
That was my favorite.
And it's like only because even if you played the game solo, there was like hidden coins that were on every course. There was 100 coins, and some of those were a bitch to find.
Yeah, you had to collect them all.
I bet like half my money during that time there was spent with this game. Literally, because it's like a lot of the coins were very well hidden.
Mm-hmm.
That was a cool game. It did something a little different, whereas you had a touchpad on the thing, and you actually made like a code for you. So when you sit down and put your card in, you put your code in to bring up your profile.
Right, and it's like I can't remember whether it was with the coins you got or with the miles you got, you could actually upgrade your car.
Yeah,
you could actually get like the General Lee or something like that.
Well, I remember there was like the Fast and Furious Dodge.
Right, but I can't remember what upgraded your car. I think it was miles.
Yeah, when you got so many miles, you get a different car.
Right,
and you get different paint
and
jobs.
And that was one aspect of the game I really loved.
So it was really cool when you've been playing a while and you played with someone who just started playing it, and they're like, "Wow, how'd you get that car?" Well, I played it so much, I got so many miles.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Then they knew, okay, I got to keep playing it.
And one of the multiplayer games up on the second floor was Indy 500.
That was another attraction.
That was a huge one.
And it's like, when I started playing that was a 8-player...
Yeah.
Where you could race with 8 other players. And it's like...
And you had an announcer.
Yeah. And it's like there was someone who went there all the time where he knew about this thing in almost all racing games called drafting. Where it was a way to catch up with the person in front of you and whatnot. And it's like... It took me a while to figure that aspect down, but it's like one of the things that always got me was that there were certain like little useless codes that you could find out with this game even. There's this one code where if you raced like one of the tracks backwards for half a lap, you'd have a small bird hovering above your car.
Oh, right.
You'd lose your time, but the thing is that you made up for it by having a bird. And the thing is, since there was no cars in your way, you'd catch up pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's got the whole rubber band AI.
Well, the fun thing that also happened, the managers, when they played, sometimes 2 managers would get on the track, but they wouldn't race. They would just put the cars side by side in such a way that no one could go past them without ramming into them.
Oh, some of the I did race the manager some of the times, and there was one. And the thing is, they know the game so well. They even use some of the cheats that were actually none of the codes, but actual way to advance in the game itself.
Oh, right.
It's like only because of where the game map is, they knew when to essentially where to crash their car, so that when the car respawned, it would spawn ahead.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I'm thinking, it's like, shit, I gotta figure out where that stuff's at. You know, it's like, damn, that's kind of brilliant in a way.
One of the things with me with Indy was, it was people used to make fun of me, like the guy announcing, because I would get in the pink car, and they always laughed at me because I got in a pink car, and I'm like, all right, let's think about this now. There's all these cars, but one pink car. Which car do you think is going to get used the least? Is going to have less wear and tear on all the parts? The pink car had the tightest steering. It had the best shifters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because a lot of guys play it. When they get in, they jam the wheels, they slam the gas and brake. Nobody would ever get in the pink car.
I didn't know that.
So it was like that was the newest car because it hardly ever got used because guys don't want to get in the pink car.
Interesting.
So for me, that was the one I picked because, like I said, it was just... It just handled the best for me. It didn't have any play in the wheel or anything.
Yeah.
Interesting thought there, you know. Of course, upstairs there was also the classic game. Now, at the time, we only had the 2 attractions. We had Indy 500 and we had the vertical reality. Did we have something else?
Later on, I think after like 2002 or 2003, they did get this one Kentucky Derby.
Yes,
horse
that was
racing
upstairs.
Game. And this to me, I'm going to mention this one because this was like probably my second most played game in GameWorks. Is that it was essentially kind of like Rush 2049. This one actually was a horse racing game where you had a profile in a way, where it gave you info cards for creating horses, and you can name your horse whatever you want.
Almost.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Well, I kind of found ways around that.
Yeah.
But essentially, is that you would train the horse, you would feed the horse, it would be your horse, you know. And then when you were ready to retire the horse, you could actually use it to breed other horses. And it's like, there was even like a 1 in 16 chance that you could get a special horse. You could actually get a zebra horse. Or you get a horse that was like all orange or something like that.
You never got the gray one with the question mark on its side, though.
Yeah, still looking for that one, Joe.
And one thing you got to remember is that back in those days, this was when modifying your game the way you want it to be modified, that back in those days, that's when it was really coming out. Today we take it for granted. We have these video games where we expect to have different, clothes, different outfits, different weapon types. They do all the same things, but they have different variations. This was during that time when that stuff was really coming out. And here, we were still in the time period where we had the consoles were, still coming back, still being very popular. But now we had a place to go to play games. And, over on the more to the right, it's kind of hard to see because we only got half of it. But what you see there, and I can't really point with my finger, they can't see. But anyway, that stage was supposed to be where we showcased the next generation of video games.
Well, I remember when we first opened it, I think they had Off-Road Challenge in there.
Well, that was another thing that made GameWorks very special. We had VJs, video jockeys, because we had different jobs. My first job was being a game host, so I would be the guy walking around, making sure everybody was having a good time and everything.
They were actually called PJs, play jockeys.
Play jockeys, okay. And then there was the Vertical Reality had a person, and the IndyCar. It took them I think a year or two before they let me get trained on those things. It took me forever.
It took me about a year, and then I was actually certified on every aspect of the company.
Basically, with GameWorks, I just need to interject this a little bit. There were essentially two things that GameWorks did that I thought really dropped it down in quality. Up on the second floor, they have what, at least for the longest time, was referred to as the VIP lounge.
Yep.
Their initial plan, from what I was told, is that they were going to use that for an internet cafe.
Yeah.
And to me, they missed the mark on that one, because the thing is, during that time, that's when World of Warcraft was really popular.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you could.
EverQuest.
EverQuest was popular.
Yes.
People could have gone in there and had played. Yeah.
And that was the intention.
And they never did that. And
but not only could you play, but you could get drinks.
Exactly.
They had a barista in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They missed the mark when they didn't do that. That was, to me, the number one dip in quality. Mm-hmm. The second thing that they did is the bottom right, where Pozzible was discussing, is that they ended up having what they call redemption games, which was all those skee balls, the type of stuff you see at Golfline where you get tickets.
Yep.
And it's basically I refer to it as Chuck E. Cheese, because that's basically what they turned into. It's the entire bottom floor was nothing but redemption games, and that really killed a lot of the quality.
I don't think it would have been too bad if they kept it just a little section, you let the kids win the prizes.
Right.
But they just started taking everything out.
Right. It's like when they first brought in the redemption games, even I got a little bit addicted to it, to the point where I got so good at one of the games where I essentially earned myself a $12 meal
back in
for $4 or $5.
At this point, he could one of the things you could buy at the redemption table, as opposed to just the cheap toys and everything, was you could buy food for the restaurant upstairs.
Right, and it's like I decided to see how much it would take me, and it's like one of the games I just happened to be really good at. And so what I'd do is I'd wait for it to be 1,000 tickets or something for a jackpot. And so I'd just go in there when it was 1,000 tickets and I'd get it first try.
Exactly. And I remember it's a slider, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was some sliding
Slide Master.
Yeah, and it's essentially the game where you had to stop the slider in the middle of 3 bars.
Right.
And so essentially it's I found that so easy to do. I'm surprised that more people couldn't do it. So I just,
You won tickets for kids too.
Well, I let the kids play first, so that way when they lose, it would bring the jackpot up a little bit.
Oh, right. Okay,
and then I'd go in there
and win for them big time.
Not win for them, but I win for myself.
Right.
I'd wait for them to go away.
No, but you did win for them sometimes. You did
very,
play.
very rarely.
Right. But I remember that. I remember we had some really big prizes. We had this one bull that was humongous, and what happened was somebody actually just grabbed it off the table, because
we actually had it strapped to the table.
Okay,
we
by
tethered
strapped,
it down.
By tethered, he means we tied some fishing line around it.
I thought it was
a bull.
It was a big red bull.
Big
it was
red
5,000
bull.
redemption tickets.
Yes.
And
just like a plush toy.
Yeah, a plush toy.
And it was too
huge.
big to put back there.
You couldn't put it under your arm. It was too big.
Okay,
it was huge.
I gotcha. Okay.
Its head was bigger than your torso.
Okay.
But
I mean, it was huge.
Yeah.
And someone stole it.
Yeah.
I'm like, because we didn't really keep an eye on it, because who the hell's going to steal a bull that's that big?
Well, we have no one but ourselves to blame because, like I said, we put it outside because we couldn't put it behind the counter. Do you know what else was behind the counter? Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah.
We sold a Sega Dreamcast back there of all that cheap. Of what might have been. That was actually a pretty good game system.
Yeah.
You know? But it just didn't live up to the Sony or the Nintendo or anything else like that.
Yeah, one aspect of GameWorks I really did like that they took out, actually, was the Rejuve station.
Downstairs.
Yeah, they turned it into the Racing Zone Cafe, but they never manned anybody there. They ended up turning it into a storage closet.
The thing is, it's like, the only reason I remember Rejuve is in the day there was someone who worked through the Rejuve station I was very attracted to, and so I ended up talking to her quite a bit. And to me, it just seemed like perfect. You're not hungry enough for a full meal, but you just want to drink. Back when you get a bottle of Surge, I hear Surge is making a comeback.
Yeah.
But still, it was just a good way to just get yourself a drink, just sit down, just do whatever. And so, and they took that out. And I'm thinking they're the only place in the entire GameWorks to sit down now is in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rejuve station, that was actually the loading dock, and then the Rejuve station was the drink center in the loading dock. That was my favorite place to go because that's where they had all their racing games. So I loved racing games, so I'd play all the racing games. I'd get thirsty, I'd go get me a soda.
Exactly. I mean,
being that I worked there, I didn't have to pay.
It just seemed that every time they had a good idea, they just went the other way.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, one of the worst things that happened with the Rejuve station was, and this was kind of one of those beginning of the end type of things, when it was time to really get rid of it, they should have just broke it down, redecorated it, and put some games in there, instead of leaving it there and just throwing their excess stuff in there.
Yeah, that's why I say it was a storage closet.
Yeah. I mean, GameWorks used to be a real big thing for parties. Every once in a while, we had those parties where people would literally rent out the whole location. Joe and I, 1999, that's where we celebrated the beginning of the new millennium.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
We worked New Year's Eve.
Yeah, we worked that New Year's Eve. And
then I think I had to open New Year's Day.
They had big New Year's Eve parties. I don't know if, obviously they're not going to do it anymore.
We really...
I think I attended one of them, and I was just...
You had to pay the extra money because we closed down the venue. And only people who could pay the $50 or $100 or something like that.
I don't remember how much I paid. I think I must have paid only $50 because I would never pay $100 for.
Right.
But still, I mean, I went there for some party or something, and it was just way too crowded.
Oh yeah,
it got really crowded, and they allowed alcohol. Alcohol was only allowed on the upper level, but New Year's Eve they let it all over the venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason, it's like the bar was... During the time that I used to hang out there, I would never go into the bar. The bar was just... To me, it was boring. No one was in there.
Mm-hmm.
The people that were in there were only playing pool.
Yeah.
But it's like not long after, I decided to just go there like on a Thursday afternoon just to see what it was like. This was like a few months ago. Just had myself a meal, and it's like... It was empty. There was really nothing. And it's like... And apparently, I'm not the only person that thinks this. I was looking online when I heard the GameWorks was closing. A lot of people are not happy with the food service. They say that the food service was probably one of the worst things about GameWorks.
Oh, really?
The quality of the food and the service itself, and it's like
because it started off pretty good.
Going in the bar, it's like I ordered food, and they didn't seem to care. They just, I mean, back when I went the first time to GameWorks during that whole run of 2000 on, I just literally. The people who worked there, I got to know. I would talk to them. I'd socially engage them. It's like everyone there knew me.
It was really friendly. It was really interactive,
Right, and it's like now it just seems that... last time I was there, it seemed like they didn't even care that I was there.
Right.
Yeah, I think the quality had gone down. I mean, it was really... They really pumped us up when we were at the beginning and opening the place. But after a while, it just got to the point where even like upper management were like, we just don't care.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that there used to be some very strict positions at GameWorks. For example, door greeters, people who worked the vertical reality. Right now, upstairs, the Indy 500, it's just 2 cars left. And it's just,
right now, I don't think there's any cars left.
Yeah, well, no, not really. Right now. There's
it's like the last time I was able to walk through there, I think I may have only found like 2 people that worked there just walking the floor.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing. They had all these attractions, but after a while, they would stop staffing people. So if you had 2 people who wanted to run an attraction, then it's like, okay, well, you're gonna have to wait till I finish up over here and then go there. People just didn't want to wait. You know,
Right.
they had a mall to go to.
Right. There's so many problems. I mean,
Right.
it started out great. If they if they could revert back to the way it was in 1998.
Yes.
You guys, were you around with the picture booth where people would get in and you could take a picture with the vacation behind you?
Yes.
Or
No.
there were people where guy and girl could take pictures and they would show what their baby would look like. They could morph their faces. Were you guys there with the girl who drew the crowd?
No.
Because we saw a crowd around there, and we go down to. We're like, why is there a crowd down by the mall door entrance? And we go down, and the girl was in there, and she wanted to take a picture of herself topless. She didn't realize the two monitors that were on top that were showing everybody what the picture was.
You know what?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I never knew that story.
Oh my god.
No one ever told me that story.
Yeah, so there was a girl in there trying to flash the camera, not realizing that everybody in the venue can see her.
Oh yeah, GameWorks is full of controversy.
Someone
No,
gets on the
big
break.
time.
We had walkie-talkies. They get on there like, go to the PJ booth, change all the cameras to the photo booth.
It's like there was even this back when Jurassic Park was popular. There was this one Jurassic Park game that they had.
Lost World.
That's
Lost
where.
World.
Now it's on the photo. It's over to the right. That was a huge game, and boy, that was actually an
It was
impressive
basically a
game.
shoot 'em game, and it's like
Yeah.
you get in these little concealed stations where you're basically in the Jeep in the game,
Right?
You know, and it spins you around and whatnot. Now, someone who used to work at GameWorks,
Not me.
Yeah, not me.
she kind of got in trouble because
You got too friendly with one of the guests.
yeah, we'll just say that.
And you know what? Here's the thing: you're in that room, right? And as you can tell, over to the right, it's off the beaten path. It's it's its own little area, but those boxes had cameras in them.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's very easy to. And as a matter of fact, she got her nickname soon became known as.
Yeah, we won't mention it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how clean or messy you want this podcast.
No, let's keep it clean. Let's keep it clean. But GameWorks, it started off. People had a lot of problems with it because it was all game cards.
Yeah,
at the time.
and they get all these Error 4s and Error 30s.
Right, because they got dirty, and then eventually they moved on to the unlimited pass.
Oh yeah, the free play.
Free play, and that was very controversial because it was meant to be one per person, and we obviously we had to catch these kids all the time sharing the card.
They were sharing free cards.
Yeah.
But, I wanted to bring up one thing about the Lost World you got up there, because I've worked at. They used to shove me in that dark room all the time. You work there because I was full time. I was one of the few full timers. Working 8 hours in there for a week straight. Lost World is I think the only movie other than Star Wars that I could actually recite the lyric or the words back because they played the movie in there.
Just Lost World.
Yes. It was only Lost World, so I'd get it 4 times a day, 5 days a week, and that's all I would hear.
Oh my god!
So I actually knew I could actually go through the script in that movie.
Now that's funny that you should have it that way because I remember Lost World and I remember them playing it, but the volume was off for me.
They would turn the volume off for me. I always had to hear that darn Lost World.
But this is the GameWorks the way I remember. This is the GameWorks the way I left it. Around here, Lost World was there. Vertical Reality was still in place.
What year did you quit GameWorks?
Twice. But I think the last time I left, oh gosh, I couldn't.
I remember mine was 2000. Mine was
You were 2000.
Okay, so you weren't there very long.
I was for 3 years.
Well,
yeah.
I left first time I think it was like 2002. I want to say. Then I had to come back for reasons we shall not remember. Let's just be careful who and how and why you whistle at someone. Let's just stop there.
Oh, I remember that!
It's better to forget!
But you reminded us.
I walked into GameWorks one time and I was like, what are you doing back here?
Yeah, and they called me the Whistler for a while.
Oh my god!
But that didn't last too much longer. Because then I left again. Actually, under duress, I might say, not from my family, because I was working 2 jobs at the time, and I really liked having those 2 jobs because I made a lot of money back then. But I left GameWorks for the job I preferred back in those days. As we close, though, favorite game of GameWorks. One game that I love from GameWorks. I loved it so much I actually bought it for my computer system at the time. VR Troopers was a very fun game. What about you? Joe, favorite game?
Oh God, I don't actually know. I liked a lot of them. I remember having a lot of good fun on Harley Davidson.
Harley Davidson.
Harley Davidson was fun,
LA
yes.
Riders. I would have to say my favorite game, probably the most played game I did though, was probably Rush 2049. I sunk a lot of money into that.
Yeah.
Bucky.
I'd say Rush 2049 also because it was highly addictive.
Right.
It was a racing game.
Really good graphics, especially for that day and age.
Right.
You know?
And also got to give a shout out to Harley Davidson also because back when GameWorks initially got it, it was 4 motorcycles where 4 people could play at the same time.
Right.
And so at some point, and this is also part of why GameWorks kind of descended over the years, is that it eventually went down to 2 motorcycles.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, and it's like, it's one of those games where if you got on one motorcycle, there was this little timer that would give someone else a chance to play. So you had to wait for that timer to expire before you could start playing. Yeah. There were no option to just start now, you know, and that's kind of one of the things that bothered me a little bit. But that was a fun game too. Also, one that I didn't see many people playing it when it was there was Prop Cycle, but that was a fun game.
That was a good one. That
Yes.
was like the only one I was actually very good at.
Well, do you guys remember the rise of the Dance Dance Revolution?
I never played it. I was never any good at those games.
Yeah, that
No, I never liked it, but let me tell you something. I had this one guy who was a regular who came in there and played the game all the time. There was one girl who did it also. But this one guy, he said, he lost like 2 notches off his belt because his exercise now consisted of playing Dance Dance Revolution. Wow. And
I give kudos to anyone that can do that. I would never be able to do that.
I remember, what was it, River Rapid or something? The one where you're in the
water
rapid.
paddle.
Where you actually had the paddle. And like it was meant to play 2 players, but a lot of us would get in and play at 1 player. We just
it was easier to paddle by yourself.
Yeah, because you don't have to team with someone.
Yeah, but yeah, that's
also one other honorable mention game was 18-wheeler.
Oh yeah,
where basically you had to haul freight to like another city or something like that.
I never played that game actually,
and it was. Also, one other game, also getting off of that, was Crazy Taxi.
I was just thinking, when you said 18-wheeler, I'm thinking, you got to mention Crazy Taxi.
Exactly, because it took me forever, but I think it mentions like the top 20 scores or something like that, and I had scores 2 through 20 throughout the whole game.
Let me tell you,
we're not going to mention the number 1 score because that's not important. But 2 through 20 was just you just see BUC, 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 BUC all the way through.
Couldn't make number 1?
I tried. It's like even with the cheat codes.
Oh, remember the time you were BUB?
That happened one time!
Because he was putting his initials in. I was like, good job, Bob. And he put BUB for his initials.
Now, so as you can tell, we have a lot of great memories about GameWorks. You know, but I want to end this mentioning 2 other things, all surrounding the most important part of GameWorks, for which if these guys weren't there would literally be no GameWorks. And that of course, was air hockey.
Oh, the 3 puck
play.
3 pucks and 4 people air hockey. That was awesome. You go through there and you always have to duck because the pucks be flying.
Right. And,
I remember that.
Yeah, that was a dangerous game to have there. And also there was this one other game that was kind of fun. Don't remember the name, but it was like, it wanted to be a Hydro Thunder, okay? It was a boat racing game. However, it was on this mechanical...
was it the one with 3 screens?
Yeah.
I remember that.
And
that's like one of the few I got dizzy with because of the graphics.
Right, and they kept and they kept shaking you up the whole time. But the one reason why it's easy to forget that one is because it kept breaking down all the time.
Yeah.
And same with air hockey. And if it weren't for the technicians who had to fix these games...
Yeah, they were fixed on the call.
Constantly!
I'm constantly on the radio. Yeah, Joe Tech. Yeah, this game's broken.
Yeah.
This is what's wrong.
And calling up the techs was something we did all the time. The fishing game was like that.
I got to give kudos also to the techs also because there was this one, I can't remember his name, but there's one pinball machine that I loved playing that actually had glow-in-the-dark balls. I can't remember the name of it, but at one point that needed to be repaired. So a tech came and he removed the glass casing from the pinball and whatnot while I was still technically still playing the game. So while he was fixing it, I was just hitting something in the game giving me points. He didn't mind.
Oh.
So here I am just going, don't mind me. And because the thing is, I didn't even do that at first. He's the one that did it. So, I just want to give you 10,000 points. And you're okay, I'll do it too.
Yeah.
Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't mind me. And so, and then you replace the glass sliding. And it's like, they were really cool with some of the stuff,
Yes, they were. They were very cool.
You ever tell you guys about the time I got electric shock on one of them because someone spilled a smoothie? Remember the Wave Runner games?
Yes.
They spilled a smoothie on the floorboard,
Oh.
where the sensors are.
Okay.
So I'm getting there and I'm cleaning it up, and I leaned in to clean it. I touched the other one and braced myself. Well, I must have completed the circuit. Yeah, man, did I get the and it felt like my hand was on fire. And the thing is, I'm sitting there going, oh, this hurts! And I pull my hand off, and what do? I'm like, what was that? I touched it again!
Oh.
And I was like, oh!
That's good, Joe.
Like,
this hurts! Let's do it again!
Yeah, I'm like, let's do it again to see what happens.
Like worse than the Uncle Fester thing that you had that one time?
Oh, God, it hurt a lot more than that.
And so that's it. But of course, to conclude this, really, the texts were a big part of it. But let's face it, the one thing that would really keep us going back to GameWorks was working with such beautiful women.
Boy, are you shallow?
Yeah.
Well, come on.
I kind of give that props.
Yeah.
They hired the best looking women and some of the worst looking guys, but
Yeah, I was one of the exceptions for the guys.
You wish. Yeah. But just using first names only, let's name off some of our favorites.
I actually like Marina. She used to work Rejuve.
Mm-hmm.
She was a delight to talk to. She was always energetic and plucky.
I still remember Genevieve and Sarah.
Genevieve and Sarah.
Sarah gave me the one. She's where I got the thing of Sarah heads.
Yeah, exactly. Well, long story. We're not going to get into that right now.
Don't even try. You'll just get the wrong impression. But
yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, Amy was another one.
Amy. Yeah, she was original.
Yeah, she was original. Who else was original crew?
Amber was original crew.
Oh,
I
yes.
Robin that worked in the bar.
Yeah, Robin was awesome.
She had I look back at the way I acted towards her back then, and I kind of wish she could hear this so I could apologize to her, because I acted very inappropriately to her, and I regret this to this day. That
you were young.
Yeah, so she probably didn't want to talk to me, but she put up with me.
You gotta remember, we were all in our early 20s.
Yes.
Right. We were in our late 20s. I'm sorry, because I was 28 when they hired me.
It's like, I want to apologize to her, and it's like, right now I have no means to apologize to her because I don't know that much about her.
Oh, hopefully she'll hear this,
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
There's also Bobby.
Bobby Joe.
Bobby Joe, yes.
Her.
She was
hired with Sarah. I think Aaron and Rachel. They were all one.
Yes. That was a brief period. When we first opened up, we had a lot of crew come in, a lot of crew go out. Who was part of Seattle again?
That was Jonathan, Matt, Jen, Cameron, and Wendy.
Yeah. But then a lot of people got let go, and there was a big switch around. However, we did not get any girls for a while back in the early 1998, 1999, and then we got this rush of 4 girls: Sarah, Rachel, Aaron, and Bobby. No, not Billy.
Billy Joe.
Billy Joe, that's right.
It was Billy Joe, and then there was Bobby. Bobby was original crew though, but we lost her real soon. She went over to the Harkins next to it. That was one of the biggest headaches about working for GameWorks, is that we had a door that went all the way through, but we stayed open late while everybody else closed.
All closed.
And what happened was people would be in GameWorks expecting to go out the door and to go to the movies, but we couldn't let them go out that way. They had to go out the front.
And then they wouldn't stop. They stopped guarding it, so people go into the stanchion, prop the door open.
Yeah, they would force the door open. And believe me, it's so funny. I still remember to this day. We went to great lengths to really tie up that door, and eventually some guy from the fire department came.
Oh yeah, we wrapped the stanchions around the crash bars.
Yeah,
we just wrapped them and tied them up.
To lock them up. He said, that's not allowed. If you guys don't change that, we're going to come in here and shut you down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, it's a fire hazard,
Well, yeah, I understand.
Yeah. But still, it's like something, and it's amazing. He just came to me and told me about it, as opposed to just going to a manager like he should have.
He thought you were the manager.
He probably could. I have that official look to me.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, with your broom. Actually, I gotta find that picture of you on your last day. I took a picture of you.
One of the big things for me, I remember the winner circle where they changed that from high scorers to crew members of the month?
Yes.
I was the first crew member of the new millennium.
Right. He got that right away. But yeah, this was, when you're young, you've got your place. And this was our place.
Yep.
We had the highs, the lows,
and all the in-betweens.
And all the in-between. An incredible adventure back then.
Yeah.
So, but that was game. So now, if you haven't heard, GameWorks Tempe is closing. Their doors
has closed.
Yeah,
has closed their doors.
Yes.
Excuse me.
According to the article, I believe it closed last week.
Okay.
Yeah, because I heard about 3 weeks ago that it was closing.
Yeah.
So you couldn't make it to our 20-year anniversary, guys. GameWorks, I'm so disappointed in you.
Next 2017, November, you and I will show up there and we'll put a rose on the front doorstep.
There we go.
I don't give a crap.
Well, I do believe that there's a couple of options that are out there. People recommend Endgame that's in Tempe. People recommend this Cobra bar that's in Phoenix.
I really like Grid. It's a lot smaller.
I hear that. I haven't been there.
It's a lot smaller. Got a bar thing going, but then they got free video games. They got pay video games. Not that many. There's maybe 10 or 12.
So it's kind of like Endgame in a way.
I've never been to Endgame, but this Grid's pretty small, but it's really fun. They have different events going on. Too.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check out the Grid then.
All right, guys, that's it for right now. So since we can't go to GameWorks anymore, we'll have to see you at the theaters.
Take care.
Be seeing you.